Hi everybody, it's Maureen of Maureen 97 Designs, and today I have for you a whole army of little colored Anyas. So today's video is going to be not a coloring video, but a video about coloring on different kinds of cardstock with my Olo alcohol markers. I got in the Accent Super Smooth and I wanted to show you that. I think it came out pretty good. I didn't think you'd want to watch me coloring that same image again since I did it on the last video. And again, because I actually figured out that I had one more paper that I could try, which was the Olo paper that they sent us a tablet or a spiral book of Olo paper. I'm just going to call it Olo paper because I don't know what else to call it. And it came out okay. So all in all, the 5 different cardstocks that I tried were Accent Super Smooth, Hammermill, Neenah, this is just regular smooth, Expressit, and the Olo paper that came with the markers. And I gotta say, my favorites are the Hammermill, which is on the right, and the Accent, which is on the left. You can see I did color them a little bit differently, so there's a little bit of difference in that, but to me they colored up kind of similarly in the way that they absorbed the ink. You can see how I colored it a little bit differently with the shading and some of the different details, but they went on kind of similarly, and I think they came out kind of similar, but that wasn't a really good comparison because I colored this Hammermill one maybe like 3 weeks ago, and I just colored this one, so of course I colored them kind of differently. Let me go through the ones I didn't care for as much. That would be the Neenah. This was the 80-pound Neenah smooth cardstock. This was actually, when I googled, this was actually like the #2 favorite cardstock to do Copic coloring on or alcohol ink coloring on. The reason why I didn't care for it as much was because I didn't think it blended out quite as nicely. You can see that. And then it really bled here, the bottom of her dress, and I wasn't going over and over and over again, but I did do a little blending, and it totally bled out into the bottom of the cup there. You can kind of see how it's sort of yellowish at the bottom, which I guess could be an artistic choice, and her cup is reflecting the color of her dress, but that's not what I intended it to be. So that's sort of in a class by itself. It is nice and smooth. It's not the super smooth though, so that could be the problem. The one that people are recommending could be the super smooth. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get it in Hawaii right now. Nobody is going to ship it to me. So anyway, I got to put that one on the side. And then these two are very similar. The Expressit on the left and the Olo on the right are both very, very smooth. I think you can use the word silky with them both, but actually I feel like the Olo one is even more silky, and I'm not sure if that's because there's the coating on the paper, which keeps it from bleeding through right away and kind of keeps the ink sitting up on the paper to help you blend, which ironically for me, I felt like I didn't do a good blend on either of them. Of course, that could be the way that I color. I don't know, the perfect ways to color on this type of card, so that could be a problem. I'm pretty sure Expressit is the #1 card for alcohol ink coloring, by the experts, which I'm no expert, so you know, you gotta remember to take all of this with a grain of salt. I color how I color, and I am sort of self-taught, but I also watch videos on coloring, but mostly I just do what I feel looks right and feels right. So my method of coloring may not be the right method for these two cardstocks. But if you have any opinions on these, if you want to see me do more coloring, give these two another chance, the Expressit and the Olo paper, please drop a comment for me letting me know that you'd like to see more with these papers, and with the Neenah if you have a preference. Because right now I don't plan to do any more coloring on either of these. I just don't feel like I can do a good blend on them. Otherwise, I think they came out, you know, fine. I mean, the hair, the feathering and everything is fine. It's just the blending, which I felt was pretty important, didn't come out exactly how I would like it. So with that all being said, I am going to continue with my Hammermill, which is this one, and my Accent Super Smooth. I'm going to do some more coloring with both of them in the future at the same time. So hopefully, because I'm doing it at the same time, my technique won't change between the two of them, and I can get a better comparison of exactly how they look. One thing I did notice though was today when I was working on my color chart. This is my Olo color chart. This is on the Olo website. When I was working on my color chart today, I'm working on my glass mat, and I noticed that even with very little blending, it bled through the cardstock and left alcohol ink on my glass mat, so I had to keep cleaning it off to make sure that I didn't reactivate that alcohol and get it coming up through the card into different colors. So one thing was I tried not to go around and around too much, but I want to get a good representation of what the color really looks like. I don't want a super thin layer where it's not going to look the same as when you put a couple of coats on for blending. So that's why you can see the bleed through on most of them was pretty substantial. And I did say previously that the accent that I was using before, which was not a super smooth, did really suck up the ink. So that could be a negative for the accent. Even though it's super smooth, it feels nice. It's not silky. I don't believe it has any kind of a coating on it, but it is very nice and smooth. But it looks like it does kind of suck up the ink a little bit too much, whereas my Hammermill, I felt like it didn't suck up the ink as much. But I like how they both look blended, so I'm going to keep trying to use them both for a little while, do some coloring with both of them at the same time, and see which one I like better. But I'd really love to hear your comments if you have any opinions about all of these Anyas that I'm showing. Let me put them all up. Here, we can put the Expressit with the Olo marker and the Neenah, which is the preferred brand, and then these. And maybe you can just look at those and kind of compare. What I'm really looking at is the way the faces blend. So you can kind of look at all of them and compare. I'll name them all. This is the Accent on the top left, the Hammermill on the top right, Neenah on the bottom left, Expressit on the bottom middle, and Olo marker paper on the bottom right. So if you have any opinions on what you think looks best, I'd sure love to hear it, because I am no expert. I can't say that enough. I'm not an expert colorist, and so I really would love to hear your opinions. But anyway, I'll be back hopefully soon with some Olo coloring videos, and thanks very much for watching. I'll see you later.